Hey, welcome to Alpha Cave. It's good to see you guys, and thank you for joining us. Please like and subscribe. And let's talk today about what has happened to this world. Coronavirus came in like lightning, it hit the whole world. And what happens after lightning hits? Thunder. And the thunder for the United States has come in the form of economic disaster, unemployment rate, uncertainty for our future, and really not knowing what's coming up, even tomorrow. What are we going to be doing? So, we're going to talk about those things today. We're going to talk a lot about the economy, we're going to talk about a lot of businesses, and we're going to talk about our future and see what do we expect is going to happen in the near future. Let's start talking about the economy first. We saw that the amount of jobs that were lost were tremendous, even though the government has continuously helped us. And even yesterday, the House just passed a $3 trillion budget to help the economy. It still has to pass the Senate, and we'll see if that goes through. But they've already given us a lot of money out into the community to help maintain jobs, keep our jobs, keep people happy, and keep their rents getting paid. Things like that are still going on right now. But is it enough? I don't know. Businesses are still going bankrupt. Some businesses are going to thrive. Some businesses are going to thrive, and those are the businesses that we have to look at. We have to look at those businesses and see if those are the businesses we as investors would want to invest into. Some businesses are going to adjust and adapt, and that is the trick to going on in the future, adapting to the change. It's amazing to me that we talk about a person having a 6-month budget, some money, so that if you lose your job, you lose everything. At least you have money for the next 6 months, which you can kind of budget and then extend that to maybe even, a year and a half or 3 years of money if necessary. But when we look at some of these businesses, we got hit, and by the first month, some businesses were going bankrupt, which means that they don't have that backup cash, and maybe the business model isn't as great as we thought these businesses were doing. So let's talk about some of the businesses, and first of all, let's talk about transportation. Let's talk about air travel. Air travel is really important. Man, everybody got grounded, didn't they? Right off the bat. American Airlines, let's talk about that. They're going to be receiving $5.8 billion from the government as aid. They're also going to be getting another loan from the government for about $4.8 billion. They hopefully will survive through this, as well as United Airlines. United Airlines is actually decreasing their flights and have decreased their flights from like 4,900 a day to about under 400, like 362 flights per day. That's a significant decrease. You can see that they're going to be losing lots of money. I don't know, can they survive through something like this? Their stock price is good, but will they survive? Delta Airlines, we know that Warren Buffett just sold all his stock on all these airlines. That doesn't mean that there's not money to be made by buying their stock, and that the future of these airlines is going to be grim. It may be grim for a year or two, but eventually people get back to flying because they have to move, they have to go places. And March, for instance, for Delta Airlines showed a decrease in year-over-year profits of $2 billion. And they use $60 million daily to survive. So we'll see how they do over the next half a year to a year, and see if they can actually go through this period of time well. Southwest Airlines, they are actually the ones that came into the year with about $4 billion in cash. They only had about $1.3 billion in deficit. They will get some money as well from the government, about $3.2 billion in bailout money, and they'll probably get another billion in a low interest loan from the government as well. So I think Southwest Airlines looks like they actually are going to be doing well for the future. It looks like they've planned well, and hopefully they can make it through this time with a lot less cash, but they can make it through. Some of the airlines have been hit. Actually, all the airlines have been hit. JetBlue, Spirit Airlines, Alaska Air Group. You even got Allegiant that got hit, and we can't leave out Boeing. All of these have taken tremendous hits, and we are hoping that most of these will make it through so that their jobs will not be in jeopardy, that people can get back from the unemployment line back to their jobs again. It's hard to imagine another business sector that got hit as hard as cruise lines. Cruise lines had to completely stop working completely, and they are struggling to survive. Carnival, for instance, they use $1 billion a month just to cover their expenses. You got Norwegian Cruise Lines, they use $70 to $110 million per month. Now, the good thing about Norwegian Cruise Lines is they have about $3.8 billion in capital that they can hopefully make it through this period of time. Same thing with Royal Caribbean. They do use about $330 million per month to survive, but they have about $3.45 billion, and hopefully that should take them through the first quarter of 2021. After that, we'll see. They need help as well. They want to be able to keep most of their employees and to get these cruise lines going again, but it's going to take some help. That takes us to the railroad system. And when we're talking about railroads, I think that the United States is way behind. We know that in China and in Europe, they're really thinking of putting more high-speed rails over the next 10 years. And they will probably be generating somewhere between $43 billion to $65 billion of possible profits there. And it's going to be interesting because that is going to be the wave of the future, and that is where possibly a lot of the money is going to go into. We know that Texas has a plan to make a high-speed rail from Laredo all the way down to Dallas, which is about 500 miles, and to Austin, to San Antonio. So we'll be able to travel, hopefully in the near future, very fast, maybe go have dinner in Dallas and come back and spend the night in our bed resting well after a nice travel to Dallas, which that was not possible before other than just flying in an airplane. So that is something that I think is going to be a wave of the future, and as businesses start popping up that are working on these railways, that's where we're going to have to look to see where we're going to put our money and invest into as well. Let's move on to entertainment. Entertainment is what we strive on, man. We love entertainment. We love sports. We love movies. We love going out and dining. We love doing the things that will allow us to just enjoy life as well. But those things have changed dramatically. For movie theaters, AMC is possibly looking to be bought out by Amazon. We got Cinemark, we got Regal. They all had to close, and as they're opening up at 25% occupancy rate. Which, how are they going to make money that way? It's going to be very difficult to be making money and to even break even with such a low occupancy rate for these movies. They'll have to be running 24 hours a day and still not make as much money as they could have. And we're starting to see the shift into Netflix and movies going directly to a streaming service instead of going to the movie theaters. And that's going to continue as if these companies see it as beneficial to go straight to the TV, then that's what they're going to do. It's going to be easier for them, and it's going to be cheaper for them as well. And in addition to that, we see Netflix actually doing well. We see Disney Plus doing well. Then we have all these other ones that are coming on. The NBC is starting to get one. CBS has one. I don't know how well those are. I think you have to be early to the market on this to actually do well. I don't think those streaming services are going to do well at this time. But the first two, Disney will always do well, and Netflix seems like it will always do well. And Hulu will do well because Disney owns Hulu. And so that's where that's going to do well. And ESPN Plus since it comes from Disney as a package, will also do well. And that's perfect for them. Um, Sports, though, that's a different story. When you're in a sports stadium, you're elbow to elbow with people all the time, high fiving people, yelling and screaming and everything. That's going to have to change. We live currently in a situation where people are in fear. They are in fear a little bit of getting sick. I hear people saying, oh, we can let ourselves go out and enjoy life because we have immune systems, and most people are not going to die from this. But we do have to take care of our elderly and those people that are immunocompromised. The only way to take care of the people that are elderly and immunocompromised is by taking care of the people that are not elderly and not immunocompromised. Because if they get sick, the elderly get sick, the immunocompromised get sick. So there's no way of taking care of them without taking care of everybody that is healthy first. So that, I don't see where that argument even comes into play. We have to be careful. There is no treatment, there is no vaccine, and hopefully that's coming soon, but not soon enough. Not soon enough for the sports stadiums. So it's very likely that we may not see any people in the stadiums at all. We also see that the NFL is starting to plan to pump in some noise to make it sound as if people are there. They're also going to possibly virtually put some people in the stadiums so that when you watch it on TV, it actually looks like it's crowded. So that's going to be very, very interesting and very, very different for a lot of us, a lot of ticket holders, and it's going to make it interesting. Now we know some of the sports are coming back, the fights are coming back, the car racing is coming back as well, and that's pretty good. I mean, that's a good thing, but some of these sports are not going to be the same without people in the stands. Basketball, baseball, I think they can come back, but they're going to have to take pay cuts, and you can see a lot of the players already saying they don't want to take pay cuts. But the future is they're going to have to take pay cuts. That's the way it's going to be. They're going to have to remodel and restructure all those contracts or become unemployed. That's the way it's going to have to be, unfortunately. Finally, let's talk about medical treatments. Medical treatments have changed. For family practitioners, definitely telemedicine is a new medium which will be used almost without a doubt forever now. It will be used not as the sole way of seeing patients, but it's the wave of the future that we have now. We need to be able to treat patients. So the best way to do that is to make sure that the artificial intelligence gets better. So our future is going to include many devices that the patients are going to have at home to check their blood pressure, check their sugars, which we already do. In addition, be able to look into their eyes, their ears, their mouth, be able to listen to their heart, their lungs. There's some things that we're still going to have to do hands-on when we're evaluating patients because of a mass or a surgery that's going to be needed, or an acute infection that is intra-abdominal that's going to require surgery. Those things are going to have to be treated there. Wounds are going to have to be treated, but for the most part, a lot of things are going to be done and can be done through telemedicine. So we cannot fight this future. It's going to be part of our daily lives as far as how we deal with patients in the medical field. And we're going to have to continue doing that as well. So we can see the light at the end of the tunnel. We can see that there will be a future. Humanity finds a way to make the future better. They always find a way to make things better in this world. And hopefully that we can see that we can come together as a world to defeat an invisible enemy, which is this virus. If we can do that, we're going to do much better throughout the world, throughout the United States. And we hope to find all these changes so that we can have a better future. People want life to be the same the way it was. And it can't be. Not for now. Maybe in the future it can get back to normal and we can deal with this situation and situations to come better. I think our businesses, from the medical field to the sports and entertainment field to everything in every aspect has learned a great lesson from this pandemic, and we're going to continue to learn. But we hope not to repeat the same mistakes when this happens again. And there's always a chance that something like this is going to happen again, but we need to be prepared. We need to be able to adjust and do the right things. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and like and subscribe.